we've reached this breaking point. And what is a breaking point? You know, I made up this little graph that it's kind of green where things were going good with our bees. And then all at once, it seems like we're starting to hear more and more about bee losses. And I want to say that a lot of you that are watching tonight, you're thinking about starting bees, or you're going to start in the spring for the first time, or some of you kept bees for a long time, and you're not sure what the future holds for honeybees. And you're wondering, well, what happened? You know, well, let me say that I've been through several of these uh-oh moments in beekeeping. I mean, when the Varroa Destructor hit the US, that was a big uh-oh moment. I thought, oh no, you know, I had 2 hives that crashed from Varroa mites when it came, and it was just like, boom, dead for no reason, right? And it's alarming to see that. And then, of course, a lot of us went through colony collapse disorder, where it was just like, boom, bees were dying, 2007, 2008-ish. And then we had things like small hive beetle, introduction of small hive beetle, boom, you know. Now we're worried about AAA lapse, and there's always that kind of thing that we're dealing with when it comes to bees. Bees are really classified or rightly called livestock, and we have to keep livestock alive. So it's not an easy thing to do, but I want to encourage you tonight, don't panic, okay? Don't panic. You know, who knows for sure? I don't know if we'll wake up tomorrow and be alive, any of us. A meteor could hit the planet. I don't know. But anyway, I think we're going to be fine. We've made it through all kind of crises that bees have had, and we're still doing good. But I do want to dive in a little bit more about this subject, and let's talk about it, okay? Let's just be open and talk about it. So what's going on? When everything is done right, you did Mite Control, you fed your bees, they look great, you bought the most expensive, best talked about queen, that's VSH queen, you know, she's supposed to be really great, and you just did everything. You fed them something in the winter, you built windbreaks, you insulated, you used all the newest stuff on bees that vendors sell, you took classes. Heck, you might even be a master beekeeper. And all at once, you know, your bees didn't make it. And why is that? And let's talk about this. Reason with me for a minute, okay? I just like to sit down as a friend. We'll talk. 2024, I believe, just my opinion, was probably the best managed bee year ever. It's the best year we've ever had for managing bees, and yet we had the most losses. Well, what do I mean by the best managed bees? Well, this was a year because early on in my endeavors of being on YouTube, it was hard to convince people to check for mites. I'm talking about 10, 12, 15 years ago. People were like, no, I don't want to check for mites. I just think mites ought to be able to get over it. And it was real hard to convince people to check for mites. Now, almost everybody knows that mites are a problem, and almost everybody knows how to check for mites, that control mites. And so look at all these other things I thought of. Oh, shoot, my slide messed up. This is the year that we're the most high-tech when it comes to beekeeping. We have high-tech equipment. There's high-tech management of bees, high-tech treatment methods, high-tech ways to keep beekeeping logs, high-tech ways to, you know, just to operate beehives. And I think this is the year that beekeepers have been the most educated. We have the most onslaught of beekeeping classes available in clubs, available online. My goodness, there's never been a greater time for any beekeeper to be educated than 2024. I'm talking about last year. And this was probably, and I could be wrong, I'm not a researcher, I'm not a scientific researcher, but I think 2024 was the most researched year ever. I think this is when we're at the pinnacle of bee research. And this is the year that we had the most treatment options. Seriously, it has to be, right? You got to agree with me on that. We haven't really lost many treatments at all to speak of, but we keep gaining more and more treatments. And so we have the most treatment options available in our toolbox in beekeeping in 2024. 2024, we saw the most variety of products being sold in vendor halls. Oh my gosh, there's no reason for a beekeeper not to have every imaginable something to do with bees, to keep your bees warm, to keep your bees happy, to keep your bees fed, to keep your bees in the perfect hive, to use a perfect hive tool, to use a better smoker, to wear a better suit, to wear a better this and that. It just goes on. There's no reason why we can't just be top. We're top notch when it comes to products. My gosh. And this was a year we've seen the most conferences and the most people probably going to conferences, hearing people talk, receiving instructions, talking to vendors, relating to each other. This is probably the year we've seen the most master beekeepers. And I'm not talking about just EAS beekeepers, but all the beekeeping programs are skyrocketing with candidates trying to be a master beekeeper. And yet, this might be the year we have the most losses. I mean, it's like, wow, really quite puzzling, right? Well, is there more going on, like fear mongering, or is it reality? That's something I want to talk about tonight. I believe, and it's just my opinion, I believe our same issues are expanding. Like bee diseases are expanding. I believe, we have and I may not be up to date on this, but I think we have over 30 different viruses that can affect honeybees. And, we've seen antibiotics used on bees. We've seen resistance toward that. We've had to change up that a little bit. And of course, mites. I mean, every year we hear more and more mites, which I don't understand because we have more treatments available. And from what I hear, I hear that we have better queens available, more VSH or mite-resistant queens available. And yet this seems to be where I heard more and more people talking all year long about how they were having such, mite bombs, even though we're treating and everything. Queen genetics. Now, queen genetics, we have people working on making bees better. And I trust that people that are working on bees, and I've tinkered with this when I raise bees too, I try to get the best queens and raise out of the best hives and all that. But when we start tinkering with genetics, is it possible that something may be going on there? Like we may trade one trait, but lose another that we don't realize? I don't know. So we have a lot of genetic manipulation that seems to be at the forefront of producing the best queen, but how much might that be a concern? And we have a lot of chemicals in the hive. Let's face it. Now, we're all told that all of these chemicals that we use are safe. They're good. They're not bad for bees. Bees love them, and it just kills mites. That's what we're told. That's what studies show. We have treatments that don't get absorbed in the wax anymore. We have treatments that don't kill the queen anymore. We have treatments that you can treat with the honey supers on. And all of this sounds so very safe. But we have some chemicals that are known to be some very, some of the synthetic chemicals that are hard on bees, and they are absorbed in the wax, and they can have a sublethal effect. So, and then we have the environmental chemicals. And a lot of you on my YouTube channel talked about the environment as causing, I think that was probably one of the most frequent comments I heard on my video that I made. I think it's almost has 35,000 views over the last couple of days, but a lot of comments were left about the environment being the cause our bees are dying. Farm sprays were mentioned, pesticides were mentioned, and I was educated. Apparently, some people say there's chemical trails being sprayed over our heads up high. It's different than than contrails, although a lot of people feel like contrails, that's the exhaust, kind of the condensation out of jets that fly overhead at 30,000 feet, that's affecting the bees. Of course, 5G has been talked about a long time as being really bad for bees and hurting bees. And so a lot of these things were kicked around, and I saw a lot of things that were said that I won't even mention. I mean, there's a lot of things that were mentioned. But, it's true. We do have a lot more environmental chemicals out there, good or bad. That's a fact. Now, also, bee nutrition is a factor. We see a lot more bee nutrition available. A lot of different vendors are producing a lot of different probiotics and fondants and food and feed and syrup and all that, right? We know that. That's been going on for a while, but there's more of it hitting the market. And one of the things that I'm concerned about is the loss of natural nutrition. I really think natural nutrition it's been proven, it's been studied, scientifically proven, natural pollen that bees gather is better for bees if they have a big balance of variety of pollen. That's their protein. That's going to be better for bees. And so we're turning big fields of lots of good nutrition into parking lots, stores, malls, subdivisions, buildings, and bees just don't have the resources they once had. I mean, heck, where I live here, at one time, people, what is now our cornfield was nothing but, it was long before my time. I think it was long before I was even born, but it was nothing but apple trees as far as you could see. And then there were pastures of wild growing flowers that bees love all over the place. Small farmers in the old days raised a lot of different crops. They weren't monocrops. And now we have, of course, monocrops. So we have that to deal with. Let me keep talking. Come on, stay with me. So we're putting a lot of weight. A lot is weighing on the backs of bees, I think. I really do. I think, I wonder, and I'm just speculating, but if I was a honeybee, I would feel like I'm bearing a lot of weight on my back. So I've been reading a lot of studies this week, of course, and doing a little bit of research. And I was reading some research that was sent to me by my friend, Dr. John Zavishlock. And he sent me some research, and I'll try to get this in a better form to you. I'm just going to touch on it briefly tonight. Let me get it over here. But it's from the UK, and they talked about, see if I can read this study that they did. Hang on, just stay with me here. They're talking in this study. Let me just jump into it. Results demonstrate that lower overwinter colony losses are predicated by correct treatment, temporality, but not by product application alone. So they're talking about timing. So supporting the significant application of timing of the treatments. So notably, our data also indicate that over 1/3 of beekeepers engaged in at least some level of non-adherence, highlighting the ambiguity of the issue. These findings suggest that varroa treatments non-adherence is a substantial driver of large-scale colony mortality and indicate that further work is needed to deal with this underlying cause. So let me just back up here. The findings suggest varroa treatments non-adherence is a substantial driver. So this brings up this whole thing of treatments. And so what they found in the study, and I'm going to read it again to be more exact, to make sure I got it right, but they found that it's not just the type of treatment that you're using, but it's a timing of that treatment. And I have heard from another very large beekeeper that told me the same thing, that it's not just treating your bees, but it's the timing of the treatment. So I think we need to dig into that more. I think we need more work about what is the best timing of treating bees, because like I've always said, you want to cut down on the viral loads, not just on the mites. And so keeping the mite level low all year long is better than just timing a treatment here and there. But another thing I wanted to talk about is the treatment that may be affecting the queen. This is all just, speculation up in my brain. One of those things when you wake up at 3 a.m. and you say, oh, I wonder about that before. So me and a friend were talking about this, and he mentioned it to me. I'm not going to mention their name, but they said, have you ever thought about this, David? And I'll let you know, they are a PhD entomologist. And they said, it concerns me that these treatments don't affect, we say they don't affect bees. A lot of our treatments don't. They don't hurt larvae. They don't hurt adult bees. But, bees don't live that long. Bees live in the summertime 40 days, 45 days. But the queen, she lives 3 or 4 years. So think of the treatments that's hitting our queen over and over and over again. How many times are you treating your bees, and how many of those bees are getting hit? Maybe not more than a couple of times, and then they're dead because they aged out. But the queen keeps getting hit and hit again. She's the one laying the eggs. She's the one producing the next generation. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if there's anything to that at all. I may be way off base, but it's one of those things where I always wonder, have we ever really looked at that? Long-term exposure of the queen to these chemicals. It's something that I just think about. It may be done. And I always like saying that because I found out on YouTube, if you say anything, you will conjure up an expert. There'll be an expert that will rise to the top and fill me in, and they can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I'm just concerned about the overexposure of these treatments on these the queens. Well, so this article also made me think about the findings suggest that the varroa treatment non-adherence. So I wonder how many treatments that are not being adhered to, like the dosage, either it's being low dosed or it's being overdosed, or the self-mixing of not approved chemicals. And so, to be honest with you, if I was somebody that wasn't going by the label, I was making up my own concoctions and, treating my mites with this or that's not approved, then I would be embarrassed to say that my bees died, because I would feel guilty that maybe my mixture, maybe my non-adherence to the label was the cause, right? No, and then following the frequency, not following the frequency right. So some people, some labels say you can't treat again with another treatment until you wait X number of days. And so I wonder how many people don't read that little small print. And if you treat your bees and then all at once it didn't work, you treat them again, 5 days later with something else that's not that treatment. I wonder if these things are having a negative effect on bees as well. So, and then we have the weather. Now, I did talk to Randy Oliver last week, and we discussed this, and he sent me a long email, and I'll try to summarize it without butchering it up too much. But he did say that it there was a lot facing facing bees going in the fall. We had hurricanes, last year we had hurricanes coming way up into, the eastern states, so almost central states like Tennessee and all that area up there, hurricanes that were really changing, not just hurting bees, but changing the forage of bees and their pollen. There were beekeepers saying that, commercial beekeepers especially, telling me that they were getting crappy pollen in the fall that wasn't good for bees. The bees were not able, maybe because of the hurricanes, I don't know, but they weren't able to get their traditional good bunch of feed that they usually get on their bees in the fall. And a lot of you told me that your bees died in the fall. And I wonder if our bees just lacked a lot of things that they needed in the fall. But we had hurricanes, we had droughts. Let's face it, our weather's changing. I can make the joke that I used to walk to school in the snow uphill both ways. And now the snow we got yesterday was not even a half inch, where I remember it being like 3 feet with a 6-foot drift. But now we don't get that. There's definitely changes going on in the climate. That's got to affect our bees to some degree as well. Well, I think we need a fresh new look. It may not be that we need to change anything, but every now and again, I like to look at things from a fresh perspective, or have somebody else look at it. That when I write an article, I have somebody else read it, because I can look at a word over and over. It looks right. And then they read it and said that word's wrong. Oh my gosh, how did I miss that? So fresh eyes. I think we should reevaluate our approaches. And I don't mean that negatively. I don't mean we should throw them out because we're dumb and we're idiots doing it wrong. I mean, we need to back up and say, okay, let's reevaluate this. And is this right? Let's think about it again. Yeah, okay, it's right. It's good. But let's at least take a look at it, right? You know, it's like double checking. If you've got a problem with your car, you want to eliminate, this is okay. The tires are aired up good. Okay. You just want to reevaluate and find out what's wrong. I believe we're doing things right, but consider this. Would we have lost more if we hadn't dived deeper into things I mentioned in my first slide? All I'm saying is we have high tech. We have the most educated beekeepers, I believe, most research ever done, the most treatment options. We have a variety of products. We have more conferences, more master beekeepers. Could it be that rather than view that as what's wrong, we have all this and bees still died? Could it be that this is why a lot of bees are still living because of this? Because people are sharp. Because let's face it, I saw a lot of comments from a lot of you that said, went into the winter with 12 hives, still got 12 hives. You know, I heard that a lot. Some of you, went into winter with 6 hives, still got 4. So it makes you realize that not all the bees are being wiped out just because they're called a honeybee and they're gone. It's not that at all. So that makes me wonder about all the things that we accuse of killing our bees. If you have 5 hives beside each other and it is one cause that affects all of the bees, then why didn't it kill all of the bees, right? It only killed 1 or 2 colonies. And I guess we can all, you know, anybody can make speculations on that. The other thing I wanted to say, and then we're going to get into some questions and answers, but the other thing that I want to say tonight is that correlation doesn't mean causation. And I think that's really important for us to realize. Just because something correlates or something, the timing, or we see this happening, so therefore it must be that, it doesn't always work that. It can. It obviously it does sometimes, but that's where we jump to conclusions. So my words of wisdom is to hold your course. Don't sweat it. Take the losses. We love beekeeping, and it is challenging at times when we have these kind of losses, but we're learning. We will be better beekeepers because of this. You know, when mites first came, we threw harsh chemicals at them, and then we got wise and said that's bad because it gets absorbed in the wax and it hurts the developing bees. Coumaphos, fluvalvinate, and so we were like, let's back off from that. We can't be doing that. And so we learned, right? We can always learn, people. And so look at it. I know it feels bad to be a guinea pig sometimes, like, oh, shoot, they told us that this was the best treatment, and now they tell us we need to try something different. Well, that's science for us. We're all scientists. We're citizen scientists. So be of good cheer and keep your chin up. And let's try, if you've lost your bees or a lot of them or all of them or some of them, we love beekeeping. We love our bees. It's fun. So hang in there and let's keep in bees. Let's keep keeping bees and let the scientists tell us what they think might be helping us with beekeeping. I think that's critical. And I don't pretend to know what scientists know. I learn from scientists. I glean information from them, but I don't hold a PhD, and others do. I let them do the studies, and then I glean off of them. And so that's how we all need to do it. We need to let the smart people really figure it out. I do know in beekeeping, when I first started beekeeping, most beekeepers, I'm going to take that back. Let me reel that back in. A lot of beekeepers, when I first started almost 30 years ago, did not think too highly of highly educated entomologists, PhD folks telling them how to keep bees. I'm serious. They didn't. That's really improved a lot. A lot of people used to say, I don't need some PhD telling me how to keep my bees, you know. But now that's really shifted. You see a lot more scientists at conferences, a lot more PhD telling us about bees and revealing to us their studies and all. So I know some of you still hold to that, And I get it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But I think there's a lot to learn from some of the studies. And sometimes, let's face it, the studies, they give a lot of information. Occasionally, they retract it, and occasionally they're wrong. That's just science. Science changes. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some questions and answer time. Thank you guys so much for thinking about bees in the future. That's really going to be good for us to love our bees. Hey, Renee, what is the safest way to transport my 4 hives 4 hours away? I'm moving and want to keep my bees safe. I would do it at night. I like to screen off my entrance at night when the bees are all home. And I just take 1/8 inch hardware cloth, make a V out of it, and push it into the opening. Cut it exactly the width, like 14 3/8, whatever that measurement is, and push it right into the entrance. And tie down strap the whole hive around the bottom border, around the top, and have 7 of your best friends help you pick that 400-pound hive up, put it in a pickup truck, and move it. That's how I do it. It's not easy. There's 2 of us can pick it up. Yeah, move them at night, open them up. Hey, Joe, is it possible that with mass construction, etc., we're taking away sources for bees to get propolis, leading to weaker hives, especially with commercial beaks, since they tend to have large numbers of hive? Again, Joe, that's speculation. I've had many hives that do really well with a little bit of propolis in there. And I know that propolis for years, for decades, has been studied to show that it helps the bee's immune system to use less energy fighting pathogens. Absolutely, it always has. So yes, we're domesticating our bees by putting them in our hives, not a tree anymore. That's got to change things. Yep. Hey, Jimmy, when adding 2 second brood box, do I checkerboard or just add the box? Jimmy, I guess you're talking about maybe a new hive going forward into spring with a package or a nuke maybe. And you're going to add a second box after they grow with at least 5 frames in the bottom box. What I would do, and I advocate this in my online courses, please take out one of those 5 to 7 frames from your bottom deep that has eggs on it. Doesn't matter if the queen's on it or not. Move it up to the center of the box you're adding, the second deep above it. Take that frame and put it down below in the center. And what you're doing, you're moving a lot of, it needs to be open brood, by the way. Open brood is like eggs and larvae. And then that way you're drawing up nurse bees and bees up there to take care of the nursery. And while they're up there, they want to feed. And while they're up there, it attracts other bees to give them food and the cells. And it just makes it expand quicker. Brilliant. We need a brilliant logo. Hey, Ross, thanks for being a member for 10 months of the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Any tips on getting bees to produce comb honey? Comb honey is one of those things where if you have a hive that's really good at producing comb honey, Ross, they just doggone do it. And so what I do, find the best honey producing hive you have, use that one to make your comb honey. Absolutely. And the type of comb honey doesn't matter so much. It just matters about if the bees are out there bringing in nectar. Yeah, put that in your best colony. Hey, Chris, what can I feed the random bees on my property? So I guess you have bees hanging around your flowers. You don't maybe have a honeybee hive and you just have random honeybees showing up. Mainly bees love anything sweet. Sugar water will attract bees and it will help bees, but it's also going to attract everything else that loves sugar, which is basically all the other insects, flies, ants, roaches, butterflies, birds, possums, raccoons, anything that likes sweet. So you're kind of like inviting all of nature to come. But you could plant some things. Clover in your yard. They love clover. Thanks for caring about bees. That's good. Alex, just a little west of you, if I'm going to graft my queens to make a bunch of splits, what's the best time? Alex, the best time is when queens are produced naturally in the hive. If you're a little bit west of me, that's going to be about the first week of May. That's when my bees will start to swarm. That's when they're making their queens. Bingo. So no matter where you live, by the way, you don't have to be May. Whenever your bees swarm. And if you're new to beekeeping, just ask a beekeeper. If you're in Alabama, say, hey, when do bees swarm here in Alabama? That's when you should start grafting. If you're in Michigan, hey, when do bees start swarming here in Michigan? Start grafting that week. Bingo. Love it. Bees are the same no matter where you live, just different month. Robert, my candy board developed a hole in the insulation board and the bees are eating into the styrofoam. Will it hurt them? Nah, it won't hurt them. Here's what you do, though. It means that somehow they pierce through that metal. So when you get it off the hive, excuse me, get some metal tape and just tape over that hole. And that way, when you refill it, they're chasing the sugar that went into the foam is what they're doing. They'll separate the sugar out, but they're chasing that. So just tape over it. Love it, love it, love it. Love answering you guys' question. Big crowd tonight, too. How long can bees go without a cleansing flight? Northern Maine has a long, cold stretch. Wow, that's a good question. You'll be surprised how long they can go. But there's a point when they can't hold it any longer. It's just too much of a buildup. And what happens then is they usually defecate on the frames. And we don't like that because sometimes in the winter they can be carrying a nosema, microsporidium, and that can spread to other bees if they defecate and you got poop on the frames, because they're going to clean the poop up, believe it or not, they're going to clean it up and it's not going to be pretty. So we worry about that. So we like the breaks in the weather where bees can go potty. That's why I put that little hole in the winter bee kind at the top so they can take a cleansing flight more frequently. Clean that gut out. Hey, Ross, thanks for your donation. Appreciate it. All of you guys that are donating, thanks so much. I really do appreciate that. Takes a penny to make the live stream, so I appreciate it. Feel like there needs to be a standard practice before a failed hive should be counted. What are some standards that you feel should be implemented in bee practice? I feel like there needs to be a standard practice before a failed hive should be counted. Okay, I see what you're saying. There's a difference between a hive where everything was done right and they died. And there's another hive that, for whatever reason, let's say somebody had a physical problem, a health issue, a job loss. They just couldn't go out there anymore and tend to that hive. So it was not tended to and it died. There's a difference there. So yeah, I think you're right. That's fair. I think, and that's what it, I do have that in my form. I have a form that I'm going to try to put in this description where you guys can fill it out, and that information will help us see that. If it says in there, were you able to treat your mites this year and all that? So that's good, Ross. Very good point. Yeah. Hey, Mark. What about chemicals being absorbed in the wood or the hive itself? Maybe switching out a hive after a certain amount of treatments, like with OA. Bees aren't really on the wood that much. Most of us probably aren't fearful of that because we just don't feel like bees are on that wood. But you make a good point. It's got to be getting absorbed. Most hives on the inside are propolised by the bees, so they do have a coating, so that it would be getting in the coating. I want to say this. Again, I'm speculating. I'm just letting my brain run wild here, okay? Stay with me. I feel, it's a feeling, no studies have been done, so it's not scientific. I feel that my bees that I give fresh wax to regularly do far better. And the reason I think that is because I live in the middle of corn and beans where they spray, my goodness, aerial, tractor, trailers, all that, they spray. And I think it's been proven that bees, even if you don't treat bees with chemicals, that they bring chemicals back in. I feel like that, and it's too expensive for me to do it to all my hives, to put fresh wax in there every year. But, I feel like if we can give them better wax more often, they're going to do better. That's my feeling. Yeah, it's supported by science a little bit, but it's not cost effective at all. Hey, Larry, winter be kind on my hive in central Washington, forecasting up to 52 to 60 next week, 4 to 5 days. Do I remove it, put it back on? Temperatures go down to freezing. Yeah, that's all, Larry, that's all something that is very good for someone like yourself to work through. Personally, what I do, if it's going to be warm enough for 4 or 5 days like that, and I can feed my bees, if it's going to be that warm, above 50 Fahrenheit, then yeah, I'll feed them liquid at the top. But I could take that off a couple of days before the cold snap so they can clear out their gut. They can defecate. All right. We got a giveaway coming up in just a minute. Going to be giving away one of our packages of bees, so stay tuned. A few more questions before we have our giveaway. All right, David, how many days can bees live without food before starving to death? Does the time vary from summer and winter? Of course, in the summer, they need a lot more food because they're doing a lot more work. Just like me, when I work and move and work out a lot, I'm hungry. My muscles need to rebuild. I burned all my calories. I'm starving over here, people. But you sit all winter on the couch. I know we eat more in the winter, but we probably don't need to, okay? Bees are the same way. The less they move around, the less they need to eat. So they can go a lot longer in the wintertime because they're not moving as much, and a lot less in the summertime. What that exact number is varies on what the bees are doing. Absolutely. Hey, Bruce, what areas are best for bees away from farm sprays? Yeah. I would say, Bruce, obviously, I've never seen my bees have a lethal death from farm sprays because I live really close to fields, obviously, but I don't know about sublethal, right? Hey, Anthony, thanks for your donation. I don't know about the sublethal effect. If I lose a bee in the wintertime, beehive in the wintertime that was healthy and they were great, you got to think, dang, did they get into some farm spray or something? You wonder. But I think there's more. I think we should be also equally, or if not more, concerned about bees that are killed in properties, sprayed in homes and trees and barns, and then our bees may go rob that out. I think that's a concern too. Andy, following your winter bee kind recipe, making my own candy board. If it comes out too hard, will the bees not be able to consume it? Will they? That is, could they starve with too hard of candy above them? Yeah, you can make something too hard that nobody can eat it. Absolutely. It needs to be a little bit on the soft, runny side. If you made it too hard, just add some water to it. That'd bring her a lot wetter. Yeah, play with that a little bit. You can still use that. Hey, Marianne Livingston. How are you? Thanks for your donation tonight. Without my own research, a YouTube beekeeper is correlating 2007 colony collapse and this year's loss of possibility the bird flu, which was around 2007. Again, new study. Yeah, Marianne, I made a video about that today. I published a video and I talked about how, what is it? HN79, the bird flu, avian bird flu, that honeybees have different cells, and that it seems hard for me to imagine that the receptors on the virus of the bird flu would match up with insects. That's biology. I think it's possible if there's a lot of biological adaptation. And I could be wrong. I'm not a virologist. It could be. But whether or not that's the case, wouldn't you think they would have studied that by now and have been able to make that determination in 2007 and so forth? I know it's a plausible thing to look at. Okay. I'm just finding it hard to make that leap, but I've got to see more. Okay. Hey, Tom, I was paging through the Man Lake catalog last night and saw they have small cell foundation with the claim that some people think it impedes the mite's ability to reproduce. Any studies on this? Yeah, a lot of studies have been done on regressed bees. Michael Bush, go online, Michael Bush, study him, and he's done a lot of work on regressed bees and smaller cell size and all that. There's been studies that say it doesn't help. Jennifer Berry in the University of Georgia did a study and found that it really didn't make any difference. So studies are on it. It's a fence. You can go both ways on it. Yeah. It's hard to keep them regressed, I think. Dayton, Ohio. Kayla, any advice in regards to planting for extra forage? Clover, do you plant anything for your bees? My hives are backed up by a prairie forest preserve. You'll do really well there by the forest preserve. Oh my gosh, yeah. People that I know next to a forest preserve have really good honey production. No, I don't plant anything. Bees fly 3 miles, and you got to plant a lot. I think you got to plant about a half acre before your bees really fall in love with whatever you're planting. They'll be on your stuff. They're on my clover, but yeah, you got to plant a lot. All right, let's have a giveaway. You guys have been hanging out for the package bee giveaway. Let me go through the rules again. On this package bee giveaway, it's one of the packages that will be given away this April. You'll have to come here to pick it up. And so if you win it, don't try to win it unless you can drive here and pick it up. And my advice to you is be careful if you're going to try to drive 30 hours to pick it up. That will not be good for your bees. I really don't think so. It'd be better if you were a couple of hours away, within a couple hours, and get the bees home, put them in a box. Okay. And it's better for the queen as well. But anyway, nothing is you can't substitute if you win, but then you can't make it. You just forfeit what you won. So just want to let you know that should be in the description below as well. But anyway, hope you guys have fun trying for package B. And who knows, maybe I'll draw a little something on her back. Maybe I'll take a marking pen and write your name on your queen's thorax. Have you seen people write those little words on rice? Wow. All right, there it is. Hashtag package. Your chance to win a package that if all the bees die, that may be the only package left on the planet to reproduce bees. I'm kidding. That's not going to happen. But anyway, yeah, it's like, okay, I got a package coming. That is something to be concerned about. Every year when you lose your bees, don't wait too long to order your bees. Go out there and make sure you know what's alive and dead so you can get you can either buy a package or a nucleus, or you can catch a swarm or make a split, but get ahead of that. Wow, a lot of you live that close, huh? All right. Remember, guys, you're trying for a package of bees. We do not ship. It has to be picked up here on a certain date. You can't decide when to come. We tell you when it's available. You have to be here on that day. Package of bees aren't like milk that you can keep in the refrigerator at the store for, a week. Shelf life of a package is so short. Within 3 days, you need to, get that package after it's in there. So we'll have a certain date, probably around April 27th, but I'm not sure the exact date. Maybe 26th. Sherry said yes, around the 26th of April. You'll have to drive here and pick it up and be congratulated on your win. Hashtag package tonight. So, all right. Give you a minute for you guys to type that in there. All lowercase, hashtag package. Tonight was an extremely fast night. Why did it go so fast? Wow. If it keeps going this fast, I'm going to get older than I already am. Wow, it's amazing. Wow, that's so good. Yeah, we're going to give that a second to more of you are still typing in package, so that's amazing. I got a lot of audience within 2 hours of me. Yeah, I wouldn't try to fly out here and get it and fly home with it. That's not going to work well for you at all. Don't do that. All right, and if you come on your motorcycle, I've ridden a lot of motorcycles with bees on them, but it's not good. Got to protect her from the wind blast, okay? All right. Robbie, are you ready to roll yet? Or what are you thinking? A little bit longer? He's like, yeah, maybe a little bit longer. All right, let's read Tom's comment while we're waiting. Put Tom out there so I can read his comment. Somebody put Tom's comment there. There you go. Oh, thanks, Tom, for the donation tonight. Thanks for your help with queen rearing. If we listen to you and raise our own queens, we can become independent by independent of buying bees. That's right. That's really good. Also, my son Fritz enlisted in the Navy Monday. I'm proud of him, but there goes my bee yard help. Tom, oh, I feel for you. Same thing happened to me. Same thing. I have three daughters and 3 sons. All of them worked at some way in my bee operation over the years. They were my workforce and they couldn't wait to get away. No, I don't know if that's true. One son even went into the Marines and went into combat to get away from me. It was much easier life than working around bees. Not really. But I do value all of our veterans and people that served in armed forces. Thank you so much. Not making fun of that at all. But he always wanted to be a Marine and loved it. Anyway, I get you. Navy. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Tom, you're a great guy. You have a lot of inroads. You're probably going to meet somebody in your area that can really maybe kind of jump in there and do a lot of the stuff that Fritz was doing. All right. All right. Semper Fi. Absolutely. All right. Let's go ahead. Boy, packages are still coming in. Man, let's do it. Running out of time tonight. Roll it. Robbie, do it. Take Tom's comment down so we can see. Here we go. All right. Let's see who will win. All right. There goes Matt. There goes Danny. There goes Eric. There goes Jennifer. There goes Rhonda. There goes Lauren, John. Oh, Jacob. There he goes. You're the winner of a 3-pound package with a mated queen. Congratulations. Proud of you. Good job. Hope you're within 2 hours. And you'll need to email us at the email address going across the banner, Jacob, within 24 hours. Do you live close to me? I think there was a Jacob that lives close to me that got a package last year, but I don't know. BeakSquadWinner@gmail.com. We'll send you all the information. That'd be great. And if you still need a package, we still have packages available, as well as 5-frame nukes that we overwinter here. If you want to, if you're close by and want to get some beads from us, they're still available. I talked to my package bee folk and my nuke yard operator, and they're like, we're all good, David. It's good. So far, so good with us. So there you go. Hey, Jim and Brenda Jordan. Thanks for your donation. Best part of the week is hanging out with you on Thursday evening. Well, thank you so much. I do look forward to it. Today was, I don't know why Thursdays are so chaotic, but they are for me. Hey, we got a good live stream coming up on the 27th. That's not going to be next week yet, but the week after that. Dr. David Peck, I consider him a good friend. He's a friend of our live stream, and he's going to be here, and he's going to shed light on treatments. He's an expert. He's brilliant. I look forward to being with him at the live stream. So be here on the 27th. You all know Dr. David Peck. He speaks at a lot of conferences. He works with us at EAS, certifying master beekeepers every year. So fun time with him here. That'll be a really fast evening. We'll just jump right into it when we start. That's the 27th. So be sure and put that on your calendars. Yep. What other announcements do we have? Robbie? Don't forget, I'm speaking at North Carolina, South Carolina conference. State conferences are combined. That's March 5th or 6th to the 8th. I'll be speaking there along with other speakers, of course. Looking forward to that. So there's going to be a link. You can go there and look. Just go on Google and type in North Carolina conference, and you'll find it. Then you can join us. I'd like to see you there if you're close by. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Awesome. Getting ready for that. Getting all my talks ready. 3 talks, I think. Good. All right, we got a couple of minutes for some more questions. Thanks, Jenny, for your donation tonight. You guys donating to the cause tonight I really appreciate it. And if you don't want to donate or can't donate here on the live stream, you can go to our website, honeybeesonline.com. You can make a donation to the live stream from our website. Michael, will salt spread around my hives keep hive beetles out of the hive? It will help. It won't keep them out, but it will kill the larvae that jump out of your hive to pupate, and when they hit that salt, they're going to die in the salt. So yeah, everything helps, but you want to get your beetles not to be in there to jump out first. Observation question: New York been cold, and checking my candy board past few times, I saw a small number of drones, not too many. I don't think I have a drone laying queen. Is overwintering or few drones normal? Yes, and yes it is. I don't know how those guys talk themselves into it. They just have a persuasive way with the women. Mostly you see your drones get kicked out, but there's a few drones in that they talk it up. Hey, what am I going to do? I'm cold. And they have sympathy for a few drones that hang out there. Hey, Pamela, thanks for your donation. And I appreciate it. Tom, I saw your donation, your super sticker. Thank you. Brian from Central Illinois, I'm going to be using the Demarest method of swarm control, comb building, and honey production. At what point can I remove the top queen excluder? Appreciate all you do. Well, thank you. You need to watch my video where I explain that. You have accomplished preventing a swarm and getting that hive out of the swarm season. You're free to move those queen excluders and manipulate that hive the way you want to. So once you're out of it and you're staying on top of it, that's when you rearrange all those frames. But watch my video. It'll be a big help to you as well. All right, let's take a few more questions. Thanks for the help and advice. East Coast Canada. Is it ever too cold to swap out a winter bee kind? I wouldn't go out there, excuse me, if it's terribly windy, snowy, rainy. But as far as the bees, they cluster. But you know, the better we can change it on a warmer winter day, it's going to be better. I think. It's just common sense. Yeah. Let's take 2 more. Then we're out of time. Hey, Sarah, if we purchase a Nook from you, can we pick up items from your store at that time? Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry. We haven't had our store since 2020. COVID took our store out. Not really, but it just was a time to end it. And we turned it into a YouTube studio. So we don't have any products for sale when you pick up your packaged bees. No. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. Buying them online, having them shipped to you is far better. Honeybeesonline.com. Hey, David, I lost all my bees this winter. I'm sorry about that. I have a few deeps and supers full of honey that I left for them. How do I keep those from getting gross until packages come in April? If you have freezer space, freezing them helps a lot. Keeping them in a bug-free kind of not a real moist area. Don't put them in your basement. If it's moist down there, they'll get moldy. So keep them in a dry, bug-free, kind of ventilated area, but freezing them would help a lot. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Well, that's it, folks. We're out of time. I think this was our biggest audience that we've ever had. It looked like to me, but I want to thank you guys for watching so much. Gosh, love you guys tremendously. And I know some of you appreciate coming here and hanging out, but I got to be honest with you. I don't know if you like it more than I do. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys. It's a lot of work for me. It's exhausting. And I want to thank Sherry and Jessica and Robbie for making it so much easier for me. But I do love sharing with you guys. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim that my way is the only way. I respect whatever way you want to keep bees up to a point where you're making huge mistakes. I'll warn you then. But, you know, I'm going to let you do what you want to without making you feel bad. Some people make you feel bad. You don't do their way. That's not me. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you a foot up. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to motivate you because not only is beekeeping hard, but life is hard, and beekeeping can help us endure life. In today's video that I produced, watch it after this video, but in today's video, I had a coffee time about motivating you to get in there and just keep moving forward. Life, no matter how hard life is, if you're between jobs and you're scared, if you're having health issues and you're uncertain, if you have family crisis, whatever, it happens. Everybody's going through something. I guarantee it. We need each other, and we need to be nicer and kinder. I tell you what, I really believe this to be true, and I think it's been proven. Kind people get ahead. Kind people do really, they get far in life by being kind to one another. So I appreciate all the kindness I see from you guys tonight in your comments, helping each other out. This is a huge community that we have every Thursday night. Let's keep growing it. I'll be here for you. You show up, I'll work hard for you. So thanks for being here. Guys, I'm going to close out. Again, thank you so much for being here. Be sure and watch all my videos. I'm David Burns. I'll see you in the next video.